Welcome, people, to part 3 of Rauta's walkthrough, or rather like, randomly playing The Last of Us Remastered.
I can't make that jump.
The first one.
If you get me up there, I can move that plank.
Seems like the volume isn't really up there yet.
Hey, there's one of those floating raft things again. Can we use it?
Wait here. Let's see where this goes.
Welcome online. Nice to have you people on board for some talk about metal and gaming of course.
What the hell? Oh, this place is bad.
Hello, Leo. I remember the grappa guy. That was some good grab up. Had some good talk with you, mate. Nice to have you online.
Get on.
It's always
come to the hotel.
to see those familiar faces. How are you people doing? Jump on it, girl.
Okay. Oh, easy.
So as you might have noticed, today's excuse me, today's opinion video was a little bit late today, just because I kind of forgot to upload it earlier. But I hope you had time to take a look at it. At least from my perspective, as just a metal fan, I think the topic is interesting. I don't know if my take on the topic was interesting, but nevertheless, it's something that, in my opinion, needs to be discussed. That's cool, Frozen. Nice to have you online as a regular game metal dude.
Set up that plank like they did.
Alright. Now you just need to find a way up.
Gotta say, on my perspective, the
Oh, this place stinks.
Yeah,
the last week has been
Did you go to
interesting,
coffee shop
both
spot?
I did.
both in good and bad.
All the time.
And what would you get?
Just coffee.
Steelcase 2020. Funnily enough, we actually discussed the fest just last stream. That is last Saturday, and I'll get to you in a bit, Cosmic. Steelcase 2020. that is a little bit yet to be seen how things are gonna be. I mean, I contacted the promoter, who is obviously the same as with Steel Fest, and to be honest, I don't yet know whether or not I will be participating in the fest, well, whether or not I will be doing a kind of a preview of the event. I hope to do one. I hope to cover it. I hope to make interviews, but because Corona changes everything. For example, it would be unfair for me to get a spot on the fest in case some people from abroad would be participating. So I don't know how things will work out with that, but yeah, it's very interesting lineup, even more so for people outside Finland, for rather obvious reasons. But in case it isn't that obvious, let me just rephrase it here. The thing here is, for old timers in the Finnish black metal scene, most people have seen most of those bands. Not obviously all, but a lot of them. So, for example, for me, it wouldn't be that that much new
Do you think those hunters are gone?
bands,
About to
live
find
or
out.
otherwise, than for some people who haven't seen any of those bands, or maybe just a couple. So it's very interesting fest, whether or not you're
It's
Finnish
clear,
or
Ellie.
not.
Come on down.
But it's, I think, more interesting and important fest in
You ever
case
been
you
to a place
just
like this?
haven't be
Before,
non-Finn.
but I went to shit on me.
So I don't know yet how things will be regarding the fest preview, or whatever. But I am taking a look at that, and I hope that I will be there, and I hope that
I bet we can get
I
up
get to
there.
do an interesting
Oh, it's
stuff
too
with
high.
the
Let's see what we can
promoter
find.
about the actual fest. I hope this answer satisfies you. And about my week, well, the first of all, Rauta is doing just pretty normal. I mean, despite the lack of interviews, things are pretty much as it used to
Where's
be.
Kofi?
You know, lots of reviews. Nothing has changed in that respect, and it's finally, summertime coming, which I'm happy about it. But the sad thing is, you might remember that white cat that has been featured in so many, Rauta videos throughout these
Come
years,
on up.
and she has always been a kind of a house cat, always here meowing. Um, whenever I come to my man cave slash
Watch
office
your step.
space, technically the same space I'm right now, and she's been always there, just first living being to say hello, and kind of a very domestic cat, very very. And since Monday, I really haven't seen. Actually, since last Sunday, I haven't seen the damn cat. And to be honest, I am quite convinced that she's dead now. So first, the gray cat, the male one, got killed
We done here? I got
a few weeks ago. Had to bury
Check for
it
what? I ain't seen a clicker in weeks.
on my
Because we're
own
thorough. We're gonna
front
keep being
yard
thorough. Let's wrap
just
this
a
up,
few
right?
months after
All right,
our
whatever.
other dog died, and now this cat as well. So I mean, this one just vanished, but still, I can't help to think that it's nothing but dead now.
Look, man, we can work something out, okay?
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, it's not like I wanna get anything like pity or anything like that, but I mean, if you have ever had pets and you get really close with them, and it's always It always fucking sucks, to be honest. You know, I lost a few friends along the years. Some because of suicide, some because of drugs, booze, whatever. One good friend of mine died on a surgeon table. I actually made a kind of a video about it a couple of years ago, a little bit after Steelfest. This guy I had seen there, and yeah, blah blah blah. I had some chat, and of course I felt like, hey, I'm gonna meet this guy later on, and only after like a month later, after Steelfest, that guy died on a surgeon's table. So, you know, my point here is sometimes those pets are closer than friends, sometimes obviously not. But it always hurts, you know, if you just lose somebody, something you really, you know, love and care about. Yeah, cats are great. I mean, they can be assholes, to be honest, but I mean, they are just adorable fuckers. So, losing like 3 pets in like 6 months, I mean, it really stinks, you know. I buried like 3 dogs, now 1 cat on our yard. You never actually get used to that shit. But I mean, that's life. Death is part of this whole thing. Never take anything for granted. Not life, not friends, nothing. But I don't want to make it gloomy and dark or anything like that. This is supposed to be a gaming stream after all. I'm talking about metal and all that stuff. Just saying it's been an interesting week, both good and bad. Well, usually I do anyway like 2 reviews a day, depending of course how much time I have, and I mean making video. I usually get to listen to at least 2 albums a day, you know. But I was originally doing like publishing only 1 review a day.
Fuck.
And is it lucky? Yes, I totally agree. And good evening, my Russian friend, of whose name I really can't pronounce. And reviews, yeah, I usually do review 2 albums a day. I mean, at least in written format. And then if I have the time, I will also do them on video. And usually I was going to publish like 1 video a day.
Oh, man.
And that's how I walk into an ambush, basically. So I started because I decided to quit that Indy 5, you know. So, because I don't do Indy 5 anymore, I decided like, why the heck not doing 2 reviews a day? Publish 1 locally 5 a.m. and 1 p.m. Hello, LeBlond. Nice to have you online. So, that's what I've been doing. 2 reviews a day now, whenever I can.
Oh, shit.
So basically there should be more reviews nowadays than before. But obviously I'm going to a summer vacation in a few weeks, and during that time I won't be doing any of those reviews, so I have to have a little bit of stuff prepared. So you know, when I go on vacation, a new stuff won't be done during those days. I have to have them already done, so I have to a little bit of prepare for it. But it shouldn't be a problem. That means at least one review a day should be coming, nevertheless, whether or not I'm in town or not. But yeah, regarding the amount of CDs coming for review, it's been a massive thing. I mean, I was thinking early on with Corona and stuff like that, that there would be less albums, because it really seemed like some labels couldn't be able to send physical copies because there were no people working at the warehouse because of Corona. So I was basically like, okay, this COVID is going to help me to figure out my backlog, and first it did. So I was able to come down from like around 2000 in my queue to something like 150, and now I'm back. I was back on 180, and now I'm back closer to 170. So lots of stuff. Thank you, Trosan. It's good to hear that those reviews make sense. I kind of understand you do miss the Indy 5. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but some people said that, you know, those videos are just too lengthy, which I kind of get. You know, 5 reviews, if you say talk about 3 minutes per band, it's gonna be like 15, so it's easily 10 minutes at least. So for some people those videos are just too lengthy, and it's also a little bit tiresome to do those, because after all you have to spend the same amount of time listening to those albums, but you really can't talk about them as much, you know. So it's kind of like, so it's kind of like a tricky thing.
Thank you.
Here we go! Watch out!
Hello, Natalie.
Let's do this.
And then I die. Yeah, I mean, it's easier to formulate on single reviews, to be honest. So that's why I prefer doing single reviews rather than Indy 5 ones. And yeah, that's one of the reasons which that I actually did. I put more those Indy 5 bands. I mean, less quality bands on Indy 5s, to be honest, most of the time, or less known bands. So it, you know, it kind of made sense as a format, but considering it takes more time to actually do one Indy 5 than 5 single ones, that's why I decided not to do it. And this way I can work more, I can prepare more reviews, you know, even if I'm on vacation versus, you know, doing Indy 5. So single ones are easier for me, and in my opinion, they take less time for people. But people, please do tell me what's going on in the States. I mean, I haven't seen the news really. I am a little bit clueless what's going on there. Yeah, the lighting is very good. This is the remaster version, and consider that this was, PlayStation 3 game originally. This is the PS4 remaster, obviously. Yeah, but what caused those riots? I read something about Minnesota. I don't know what's going on in other places, but that just tells how clueless I am about it. So it's all about this police brutality thing, okay? I didn't know it was happening again. That's some crazy shit. Is that related to COVID thing, or is it just something that is happening otherwise? Alright, that is some sick stuff. So it's basically like 1992 happening again in any way. Like racial police brutality. Oh, that fucking sucks. I mean, you don't accidentally just choke people to death. I mean, ask any of those submissive grapplers or...
The hell?
Oh man.
Or it's good that it was caught on camera. That, I mean, it fucking sucks. Personally, I don't know black people because there are not too many black people in Finland anyway. So I really can't comment on the racial side, but I mean, everybody is an individual, and I think everybody has the same rights despite race, gender, sexual, whatever preferences and all that stuff. So it really sucks if it's going to this kind of direction once again. For 8 minutes! Yeah, that proves my point about, like, you don't do it by accident like that. I mean, it's really hard to choke people. It's certainly like disgrace indeed. It seems like in America, that some police have so much more to do with the violence. I mean, it really sounds like sounds like 1992 again. I wouldn't be surprised if Antifa had something to do with that. Not saying that they are to blame for most of the stuff, but I mean, they are a political group after all, so things escalate quite quickly. Natalie, indeed, they should.
Do this. You fucking drop him. We can work something out, okay?
He doesn't know I don't have any bullets.
Let him go. You are dead. Oh, fuck.
So we really have a crazy world situation right now. Police brutality, COVID, businesses going down. I think they might be related in the sense that people are even more nervous right now with their jobs, their salaries,
This guy. Whoa. Oh shit.
and all that stuff. What the fuck? So I suddenly just... What the fuck? Yeah, I think they are bored. Not necessarily bored, but rather stressed out. Because, once people have unemployment, that's a kind of a classic problem to cause even more problems,
Oh fuck!
Come here, daddy loves you. With a shotgun, motherfucker. That's so true, Autumn Leaves. But I think people are, indeed venting out their frustration, because unemployment and all that stuff.
Asshole!
You remember the Machine Head song, Let Freedom Ring with a Shotgun Blast. That's exactly what's happening here. Burn, baby, burn. That's what happens to you if you mess with the Rauta. But regarding, if we go a little bit back on the metal side and stray off from politics and world situation and all that crap, it's hard to say when the next interviews will be done and where. Reviews will be more or less just, normal. And reviews will be coming whether or not I'm on vacation, which I will be having in 2 phases. So you won't be seeing me that much online necessarily. I mean, I probably will be streaming games and all that stuff, like before, but when it comes to the some time sensitive stuff, probably won't be making as much that stuff. Now I kind of lost direction, like where I was going. Well, all traveling is pretty much banned right now, So even though it would be cool to go places, Russia or whatever, it's not likely to happen because of COVID. But once the situation comes back to normal, well, more stuff will be done. Well, depends where you live. from where I live in Turku, Sweden is like a boat trip away. So technically it's a few hours worth of traveling. If I were to drive there, it would take a few hours north and then to cross the border to Sweden. Hello, GD Snuff. But to be honest, I don't know how much even this kind of car traveling the COVID will now change, because obviously things are very different because of that. So who knows when it's the next time to travel to any place and all that stuff. But I hope that still chaos will be possible for me in Finland, and I of course hope that I will be able to go to Scotland in November for Darkness Guides Us. But like said, nothing is
Hey, it looks like there's a ladder inside this elevator.
certain at this point. But those would be my go-to choices right now if I had the chance. Oh, I almost forgot. I have whiskey here. Why I didn't have whiskey?
Let's see where this goes.
No, I haven't played my summer car because I don't have a PC that
That looks
is
like a way through.
for gaming. I mean, my PC is a very old laptop.
It's gonna be a tight
Even
fit.
though it's a gaming laptop, it's still a few years old, so probably not running games very smoothly. So even though I know the game and I like the idea and I think it would be fun to play, that is my summer car. But because of I don't have a gaming PC, not likely to happen.
You find me something to climb on.
Yellow Blonde, let's just hope that Darkness Guides Us will take place. Oh shit, I think this is one of the basement fights. There's one annoying fight in this basement if this is the one I'm thinking about. I remember it being one of the most annoying parts in this game. In this game, I mean. It had something to do with pumping the water, starting a generator, or some shit like that.
I'll make my way up to you.
Jeff Palm, why a cat or a dog? I am a big fan of Scotch whiskies, so this is Glenmorangie Tame. So usually I go for Islay single malts, but this is Highland single malt, which I got from the Nordic Metal Cruise when I was doing that Nordic Metal Cruise back in. And you know, the great thing with those boats cruising between Finland and Sweden is that you have tax-free booze. So technically you can always buy some cheap booze or beer or wine or all of them from those boats. So I always end up buying a bottle of whiskey. Not beer so much, but sometimes beer, because you know it's a pain in the ass to kind of carry it around. Yeah, Jeff, I think cats and dogs are indeed nice company. Though, in case you were not here in the beginning of the stream, they will fucking hurt you when they die, get sick, or stuff like that. So, getting a pet like that, it surely can be a lot of fun and love, but also fucking painful if something happens to them. Yeah, is it lucky? I mean, um, from Norway being a expensive country, yeah, booze from Finland, Sweden is guaranteed to be cheaper. So it totally makes sense for Norwegians to just, travel to other Scandinavian countries for booze. So, Jeff, yeah, then you know the story. I mean, of course, you'll get over it, but I mean, it sucks when you just, lose a pet you've been spending so many years with.
I need to find a way around this gate.
Alright, Based, I understand. Well, you get to do what you got to do. I was gonna say something about something before we started to discuss this situation about in the States, and there was something else I wanted to say about Rauta content, but fuck, I kind of forgot it. It will come to me, I'm sure, but now I'm like, what the hell it was? It wasn't about interviews, it wasn't about reviews, but it was something.
Damn spiders.
Oh yeah, training. Orphan was saying something about getting back to working out.
Oh, shit.
So I gotta say, it's been, like I said, it was an interesting week. I mean, working out has been cool once again, but my back is already killing me because of some heavy ass deadlift I did today. Even though I'm just basically almost laying around here on my recliner, I feel like shit. Yeah, this is the generator room. I remember one of the fucking bloaters coming about with this. I remember hating this part of the game, by the way. But now at least I know I'm gonna hate this part of the game. A lot of bad guys and a lot of shooting was involved and running about. We'll see if I get frustrated this time as well. So I've been working out, outside and also at my garage gym. It's not technically a garage, but those heating system room. So now it was felt like finally like summer is here. It's warm and shit like that. It's nice to train outside, but it's great to be working out. I don't want to complain, but yeah, Hulud. This is actually I think the most annoying part in the game. Favorite tracks on Raining Blood? Well, the first one and the last one, but everything between is golden. Jeff, you're absolutely right about it. I remember this one being more or less filled with those fucking annoying zombies. see if I can actually switch to bow and arrow for a bit. These kind of parts are made for jump scares. Which is fucking annoying, by the way. Yeah, I mean, all the songs are fucking great on that album. That's my point. There is no weakness on that album. Let's see if no ammo with that one. I'm just using the regular PS4 controller, and this is actually missing, you know, one of those kind of rubbery things on the what you call them, guys, directional buttons. So it's sometimes I just lose the grip in the middle of a fight, and it's rather annoying. Well, Dave Lombardo is, for a reason, one of my favorite drummers of all time, because I mean his style is just a groove, the flow, and even some technicality. The way that he uses drums, I mean, to create fills, you know, drum fills, and does kind of a drum solos. I mean, it's just superb. So Dave Lombardo is as one of my favorites for a reason. But I'll be honest about it, even though I love Slayer being one of my favorite bands of all times. Yes, based, exactly. You know, when Jeff Hanneman died, rest in peace, after that Slayer got a little bit sour. I mean, I do like the albums after that one as well, but it's clear that King can't handle everything that you know Jeff Hanneman was able to do, and it's clearly that Hanneman had better riff hand, so to speak. Well, that's obviously just me saying that, but I know I'm not the only one. So yeah, I mean, of course Slayer is more than just Hanneman. That's kind of a given. I remember this bloater coming around these parts whenever I opened the fucking door with the key card. It's always a kind of a game is giving a clue when the game is like, hey, here are some materials and more ammo and whatnot. You know that some shit is about to happen. Yeah, I guess Hanneman is the eerie part guy, where Kerry King is more on the violent side, you know. But anyway, it wouldn't be fair to say that if King had died, Slayer would still be ace, because I think it's all about these two guys' dynamics. It's much like, I don't think Kirk Hammett is too cool riff maker, but still, without his guitar work, Metallica wouldn't be the same.
Goddamn thing.
And soon the fucking bloater will come and I will get annoyed.
God damn it.
I remember actually running in this part of the game a lot. I don't think Kirk is a bad one, but I mean, he's not that great a guitar guy. I mean, obviously Metallica is fucking classic and all that stuff, but
Made it.
the thing is, I never liked the first
So much for that. I gotta find Ellie.
Slayer album too much. So, there was no bloater. Did I remember wrong, or was it that I had higher difficulty level last time? Because now this didn't feel as annoying as last time. I don't know. I don't care. I don't complain. Is it lucky you only now found that Lars Ulrich is a Scandinavian guy? I think it has been. Yeah, he's Danish. I think we felt a little bit proud of the, you know, Lars being, Danish guy. I mean, already in the 80s, it was so cool to have this Danish guy being in Metallica, which was my favorite band when I was a kid.
All right, let's do this.
Autumn Leaves, I think that's kind of a bullshit. Sorry. Um, thing is, Metallica is one of the kind of one of the bands that defined, the
Doing nicely.
whole metal. It's easy to say afterwards. I mean, for personally, I don't like Black Sabbath too much, but I still wouldn't say that it's all about, marketing or cool people. I mean, of course, everything that they were there to just, in time meant a lot. I mean, obviously, if you don't like thrash metal, metal is gonna sound like very average. For example, I don't like doom metal. I don't like traditional doom at all. Basically, I mean, I don't dislike it, but it's not never been my cup. So I could say, yeah, Black Sabbath is an average band. Iron Maiden, in my opinion, is a very average band since 1980s and before 80s. So, you know, but I gotta say, now that Cosmic mentioned Reload, to be honest, I don't find Load, Reload, Saint Anger, Lulu, good albums. I think, and the last two ones a little bit better, but never ended up in my collection. But Autumn Leaves, Metallica. Hello, good evening, Evandro. Autumn Leaves, you have to understand that Metallica was already in the mainstream before they made soft. So, you know, they didn't become big just because they wanted to go soft. Black Album probably got even more attention than any of other Metallica albums back then, and you still have to admit it fucking sounds awesome. I mean the production, everything there is like top notch. But music wise, I think albums before Black Album were greater. But these are always matters of taste, obviously. But I mean, now, Autumn Leaves, now you understand, you dig Black Sabbath, and for me, it's kind of meaningless. I mean, when it comes to the actual music. Now, being a pioneer band, I would go as far and to say that, it's meaningless, obviously, because I think Black Sabbath is very, very important band for the whole history of metal. And the same can be said about bands like Metallica, Iron Maiden, especially, but also with, Judas Priest and stuff like that. But I don't think Metallica's, fame is because of marketing and promotion. I mean, they have always been, as far as I can remember, a good live band.
I got it!
Nicely done. You bit?
Not today. You?
Not today.
So, Metallica, if you take a look at the early footage that is from the 80s and stuff like that, I mean, they were killer already. They were killing it on stage. Voivod is an interesting band because it's so weird. It's so kind of unique. I haven't heard Voivod too much. But I mean, it's not like it sounds crap, but it's not really my cup of tea. Guys, I just missed some of those comments, so I don't know what you just said there about Metallica and all, but seems I can't shoot. There goes the ammo. For example, I saw Metallica for the first time in 1993. I was 17 years old. It was my first real metal gig. And they were so great. Cult, not so much. Suicidal Tendencies, fucking A. Anyway, it was clear that Metallica already there, like, with some 11 years, with history and all that stuff. They were already very experienced guys. and they had the charisma, not just the songs, but the charisma, and they knew how to perform and all that stuff. So Metallica, it's all about hard work, you know. It's way more than just promotion and all that stuff. And same applies to bands like Sepultura also. And the new album is pretty good, yeah. But all those old bands that are now big, bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Sepultura, Metallica, oh no, the list goes on. They're all big because they did a lot of hard work. And no ESTP, I've never been a fan of Megadeth. The thing is, I never liked Mustaine's vocals. Uh, I never got to like the riffs too much. I don't hate the band, obviously, but let's see if I can knock this guy out. Yeah, I mean, of course, all good bands have, big bands have good marketing. That's kind of a given. I mean, that's what you got with money. But you don't get that money to do the marketing unless you actually have good music and already be successful before that. And besides, you really can't market shit. If you are a crappy band, you really can't turn things into money just with marketing. If that was the case, everybody would be rich. Everybody would just market the shit out of their asses and say, yeah, this is a good product. Of course, you need to spend money to make money, but I mean, with shitty products and shitty music, you can't do that even if you have money like Apple does. So, saying it's all about marketing and promotion, it's bullshit. Reviewers smell that shit miles away. I mean, if you send reviewers a shitty album and you put a lot of money on that promotional information and whatever, send beautiful pictures or whatever, naked ladies even, it's still gonna be called shit, you know? So, promotion and marketing, if you live in a fantasy world, you might think that promotion and marketing does it all. I mean, of course, it makes these names more available to you. I mean, I operate along the fields of promotion and marketing, and I, of course, know it's fucking important, but you really can't make miracles with it. And Blasphemy, that's a good example now that you mentioned. Even with the Metallica's marketing team, it wouldn't say Blasphemy. Why? Because they have got like two albums out, and they are basically has-beens. Like, Blasphemy hadn't released anything new, so they couldn't be relevant even if they had Metallica's marketing team. Autumn Leaves, yes, Napster thing was all he's doing, but people have later on said that Metallica was right. Lars was right all along about this stuff. Yet, Steph, music videos were super important back in the 80s and 90s. Not so much nowadays, but still. And touring, that's the shit. But you know, like I said, Blasphemy, it doesn't matter what kind of promotion or marketing you had there. Even if you spent millions on that stuff, it still wouldn't make a new album out. So, once again, marketing doesn't help you if you don't have the product. Bill Gates himself of Microsoft said, product is the king. It doesn't matter what platform you have. It doesn't matter what name or title or cool faces you have. If you don't have the product, you're as good as, bygones. You're as good as shit. So, For example, in Blasphemy's case, nothing really can save them except, new material. And the thing is, can they, you know, can they match the expectations? Like if Blasphemy would, do just an okay album, would that be enough for people? And Mayhem also, I mean, they've been always active. They of course got a huge promotion because Euronymous got murdered and because of those arsons and whatnot. But you have to also understand, Mayhem has always been an active band when it comes to touring. They have always had, the main guys who have been there, be it Attila or be it Maniac. I don't like Maniac's vocals, but I mean, he was really good on stage. He was really Maniac. How do I feel about Blasphemy splitting off into numerous different new bands? I don't know if it makes any sense, to be honest. Yeah, but then when you have a new band with a new name, it's like Metallica guys starting all over. Would that sell? You would need a lot of money to convince the whole fucking world who isn't reading these metalhead maniac publications that to find out about, okay, are these old guys are founding a new band. Think about it like this Kerry King thing. Now that Slayer is maybe bygones for good and never will be back, Kerry King and his team will need a massive amount of work and a lot of money to be spent to be recognized, for the whole world as, like, oh, it's the Slayer guys band. So things like that doesn't happen automatically. And even if, the active metalheads will just be sure to check out the ex-Slayer guitarist new band, it doesn't mean the rest of the world will, you know the name. So it's way more than just promotion and marketing. For example, a Dark Throne is a good example. How many Dark Throne spin-off bands you consider to be the same cult value or same as known bands as Dark Throne? Anyone? Anyone wanna
I
answer
shot the
that?
hell out of that guy, huh?
Yeah, you sure did.
I feel sick.
And you just hang back like I told you to.
Well, you're glad I didn't, right?
I'm glad I didn't get my head blown off by a
Evandro, I
goddamn
think
kid.
Ern's latest
You know what?
album is
No.
quite mediocre, to be
How about,
honest.
hey,
I
Ellie,
wouldn't have
I know it wasn't easy, but it was either him or
finished
me. Thanks for
uh,
saving my
Ern
ass.
album
You got
if it
anything
wasn't
like that
my
for me,
ex
Joel?
band member and friend playing in the
We
band.
gotta get going.
Lead the way.
I would say, based on that one listen, Ern's latest album is like 6 out of 10. Honestly, I don't hate it, but it's not. It's not really good. Based exactly. That's my point. I mean, whenever Blasphemy comes to play, obviously people know that they're gonna play just their own old stuff because they don't have anything new to show for. So they're just gonna play the same songs all over again, and nothing's gonna change that. So basically, Blasphemy is just recycling a lot. And if that's fine with people, why not? I mean, go to see the shows, buy the merchandise, etc.
We need to get back out, find that bridge.
Just tell me where to go.
I hate this crap.
But if I were to compare Blasphemy to bands like Archgoat, you know, it's so much more better. They at least keep making new songs and sort of evolving. Maybe it's just me, but I really don't get that hype with bands that have basically one or two albums out and people go crazy about it. After all, I mean, their latest achievements are like decades old. But if we consider from the safe point of view or perspective, I think it's wise that Blasphemy don't make new albums under the name of Blasphemy anyway, because they would be disappointments. I never did listen to MO. I never felt any appeal in that style. Yeah, Violence is a good example. I mean, I like Violence, but I don't know how they could live up to the expectations if they were to, you know, do the stuff again. But then again, I mean, Violence really didn't, they haven't been writing off that album for years. I mean, after all, uh, basically, Violence was replaced by those guys' newer bands, Machine Head and other bands. Violence has been going every now and then, but I mean, it's not like they have been touring or anything like that. Oh, you don't like Violence vocals? I love them. That one of the reasons is that they are something one of a kind. I totally get that Sean Killian's vocals are not for everybody, but in my opinion, they're fucking brilliant because they're really something different. They are not one of the typical ones. So I guess for me, they are much like for what King Diamond is
That's
to
a
some people.
backdrop. People would take their pictures in front of it.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay then. Something on your mind, Ellie?
I wasn't trying to disobey you back there.
So what
You
I'm
were
trying to
taking a
say is
really
that
long
I
time,
really
and
like when
I
bands
thought
have their own
maybe he'd gotten into
sound,
trouble.
be it with vocals or be it with the
It don't matter what you
guitar
thought.
solos,
I need you to listen to me.
drums,
I do.
bass
It's just that
lines, you know. And
whatever,
one of the
Paul.
things which I really like in thrash metal versus death metal and black metal is that you really have more different vocal styles in thrash metal. In black metal, everything, not everybody, but most vocalists sound the same. So, I mean, it's whether you listen to Exodus or
That door looks
Slayer
like a
or
way out.
Metallica or
Hey, you see a way to
Violence,
get up there?
Nope.
Megadeth, they all sound different. And I think that's part of the charm. That being said, I'm no
Didn't
fan
get
of.
there with this.
Let's see what he plays. Like, for example, I'm not fan of
All right.
Megadeth's vocals. I think they're always been too dry and, to be honest, very boring.
Hey, how about a hand?
You sure you can trust me with that?
Ellie.
Push!
I am.
Push harder!
There, how's that?
Let's go.
Well, Obituary is a band that I really disliked their vocals for a long, long time. Back in the early 90s when I heard Obituary for the first time, I really couldn't get into the band because I disliked the obituary vocals so much. So, Jeff, I know what you mean. Uh, but then again, I later on also learned to appreciate that the personality of the obituary vocals. So I think they're still cool. But for me, Megadeth is beyond the vocals. I mean, I could forgive the vocals, even though they are very, very boring, if I just like the riffs so much. But, you know, Megadeth style is not, it's not exactly technical, it's not exactly progressive, but it tries to be something way more than, you know, Anthrax good mood trash, or Slayer's more violent trash, or Metallica's kind of a uh, sort of epic heavy metallic trash. But Megadeth is something like, it wants to be progressive and all that stuff, but really doesn't go on with me. Not only cool that you like Obituary. I mean, it's not like too often I get to know women who are actually into death metal.
Right now, I'm gonna jump down there and I'm gonna clear
No
us a path.
abnormal bagel.
What about me?
This is not Last of
stay
Us 2.
here.
This is so stupid. We'd have more of a fucking chance if you let me help.
I am.
I know you know that, but I'm just saying.
You seem to know your
It's
way
not
around a
out
gun.
before June.
You reckon you can handle that?
And that's the reason why I'm playing this
I
first
sort of shot a
Last of
rifle
Us.
before,
Because
but it was at rats.
I wanna
Rats.
get into the Last of Us 2
With
mode
babies.
with the first episode once again.
It's the same basic concept. Lift it up. All right, now.
Jeff Baum, nice
Give
to
it a
hear that you
lean
like
right
these
into that
interviews.
stock, 'cause it is gonna kick a hell of a lot more than any baby
It fucking
rifle.
annoys me that the Nargurt sound quality
Go
is
and
so
pull the bolt
bad,
back. Grab it right there.
but I
Just
think
hug it.
the
There you go.
in-
As soon as
interview
you
as
fire,
such,
you're
with
gonna
the
want to get another round in there quick.
answers and all, I
Listen
think
to
it
me.
was very nice.
If I get into trouble down there,
That's my
you make
personal
every
opinion.
shot
That's why I
count.
wanted to release the interview despite the sound quality.
got this.
Because I think Nargurt interview,
All right.
I think it was very nice. Because Ash was basically admitting some of the
Just so we're
bullshit he
clear
had
about
done
back there,
before.
It
And
was out of
also,
hand with me.
it didn't really feel like your typical black metal interview. That's just me. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah, so I should have known better. If you're gonna steal, you better make sure you get away with it. Right? I would have done.
They're all dead. They're all fucking dead.
What the hell's he yapping about? Take a breath. Who's dead?
The whole crew. The 76 lookout guy. Some fucking tourist killed him. Kill all of them.
Shit. Have you talked to the boss?
Yeah. He wants everyone to hold their
Seems to
ground.
be a place
Watch
where
the
you take
gate.
some whiskey.
All right, you heard him. Search the area. Do not let anybody through. What was that?
Yeah.
Oops.
What the hell was that?
Let's check the street. You, go check down there.
Okay, maybe that was a good mistake after all.
Where the fuck did you go, you sack of shit?
Light you up, mother. You're fucking dead, asshole. You're gonna burn.
And about Carpathian Forest, I think it was interesting because Not the Frost was so different what I thought him to be. Because I mean, he was so humble and all that stuff. He was very polite. Oh fuck. Now I die. I suck so much. I didn't actually play Manhunt back in the days. I remember the game. I was at the computer distributor company when it came out, and I had the shirt, and I remember the game coming out. But because working at the game distributor company, I got so many games, and obviously sometimes you just selected some other games over others, and sometimes you just forgot to.
Way to go.
Manhunt sounds like my nickname. All right, good night, Natalie. It was nice to have you online once again. Yeah, Thoman is very popular here. It's weird that these guys basically never have any ammo.
Let's do this. All right, come on down.
So what do you play, Cosmic? What's your brand of choice, so to speak?
How'd I do?
How about something a little more your size? It's for emergencies only.
Okay.
Why do you have so many Ibanez ones?
Now the safety zone, do you know how to switch it off?
I do.
Okay, you just You gotta respect it. This is not...
Joel, I'll be careful.
Okay.
All right. I think I have only tested Ibanez, but never owned one. Curiously enough, I own two Jackson guitars. Exactly same model, by the way. Which was just a coincidence. What the fuck is a solar guitar? Hello, Marc Francois. Based on your name, I would say you're from the French part of Canada. Let me guess. Montreal? Quebec? Not surely Edmonton. Oh, you're from Canada also, Jeff. You must be from places like Edmonton. Your name just sounds like you're from the English part of Canada. Ulla Englund. Why that name sounds so familiar? Ulla Englund. I don't know, but for some reason it reminds me of the Swedish death metal band Grave. Probably just similarity. Ah, Jeff, how are you go? Metal Noir Québécois. Some of the greatest black metal bands coming from North America are from Quebec. Ah, 6 feet under member. All right. Just sounds so Swedish name, and I think there was someone named Ulla in Grave. Correct if I remember wrong. For the rest, it's a great band. They're also Monarch, Deletier. Well, they have same members. And God damn it, Sanctoire. Also,
What about this way?
also a Quebecois name. Then there was this one band which I really can't get into my head right now. It's Ola Lindgren. Well, pretty close. Yeah, Akitsa is pretty old, cool too. But yeah, lots of cool band in Quebec.
Right,
I just can't get this one English name from Quebec into my
Stupid
mind.
chain is stuck.
It's
Hold
rather
on.
the top of my
There.
tongue, but what the fuck is the name?
It's good thinking.
Yeah, I haven't interviewed Grave, unfortunately, so... Akitsa is not even the among the top 5 Quebec bands, I would say. But if you like Fortress, check out Deletier, Monarch, Sanctoire, and the one band which I really can't get into my head right now. Fisher is something which I also like a lot, but I don't know if they're from Quebec. Scum, yeah, but this is just kind of coincidence, basically, that I played 2 Naughty Dog games in such a short span of time.
Help me open this.
Here.
Got it.
I actually chose this game for the stream because, you know, The Last of Us Part 2 is coming in June, so only a few weeks away, and I wanted to get this game replayed before
Get down. Get down.
that Part 2 actually is out. If I would have to name one game studio which I'm a really big fan of,
Whatever, man.
but what must have been, or still is, Rockstar Games.
Old pair of shoes. We got nothing. Let's go.
Blasphemous, I think I read about it, but I'm not sure. Actually, I've been playing more Gears 5 on my Xbox, but since it's in my living room, I'm not gonna stream with it.
Ain't nothing we could have done.
I know. It's just... Oh, man.
Let's just get to that bridge.
Yeah, Blasphemy is totally different Canadian feeling that so many other bands. But now I'm wondering, what the hell was that Quebec band? That Frost something Frost, which I really can't get into my head right now.
Well, at least they finally killed that couple. I was sure they made it out of the city. Now we need to find a fucking pickup truck to...
Yeah, there better been an army in that truck. How the fuck did they wipe out the entire crew over there? What you got?
Thank you if you will, because I'm in a little bit of a tough spot. Won't really want to pause gaming to check it out. I just can't get it in my head. But I think the guy from the band, which I'm trying to remember, actually released Fortress and Deletier and stuff like that. I met him at the Steel Chaos when I had Deletier interview. He runs a label for those Canadian black metal bands. Yeah, Quebec band also. You will probably find it if you just, for example, open the Deletier page, then click the label. Frozen Shadows, thank you, that's the band I meant. I remember finding them, I would say, early 2000s, maybe late 90s. That wasn't Frost, it was Frozen. Frozen Shadows is the name of the band I was trying to get my mind about. At least I understood it's the Frozen Shadows guy who runs the label which has released these bands I mentioned. Yeah, I remember that band from like 20 years ago. Must have been one of my earliest Canadian black metal bands I ever heard. Frozen Shadows, that is. Because all these other bands, Monarch, Deletier, Fortress, Sanctuary, etc.,
Looking ahead.
they are way newer bands. Yeah, Socia des Glaces is also something that I was thinking about, but I have never actually got to listen to that much. And the Sire, I don't know how to pronounce it for sure. That's one of the best Canadian bands, I think.
Got the guy and his girl?
Who's left then? It's the guy and the kid, right?
I think it was done by Eric. Eric Syre, like Syre. That's some good mid-tempo stuff.
How was that?
Watch yourself, man. Get him!
Let go of me, you fucker!
Get off!
Shit, Joel.
Some one-man bands are great, but there are so many bad ones.
Thanks.
Because I mean, not everybody can be like Vari Vikernes.
Ready, asshole. You're gonna burn!
So many one-man bands are without a true vision, true understanding how to compose music.
Oh man.
Nuit Noir. Well, that's a band that I must say I don't know.
Frank.
And the one thing that bothers me with one-man bands is that even though these guys might be able to play, you know, just by themselves, you know, all the bass, guitars, two vocals, drums, is that because they are by themselves, you know, there is no critique. There is nobody to challenge you in the band to say, hey, really, this riff,
Jeez.
sorry mate, but this is very
Guess
mediocre.
this is how
Don't
it ended
use
for
it.
this zone.
So, in my opinion, when you add another member in the band, or even more, the band dynamics actually become a lot better. Because then you really have to also listen to usually that other guy in the band also. And that is basically the basic level of producing music. But if you just call everything by yourself, whether it's good or not, you probably
get me
end
up
up
there.
making too much shitty stuff. Yeah, two men, two guys, or two girls, that for that matter. It makes a huge load of difference. First of all, then you don't have to be jack of all trades, master of none. You can just focus on your instrument or two. For example, in my case, I don't have to worry about bass or drums. I can just focus on the guitars, vocals, lyrics, and that's, in my opinion, more than enough. And that's where my drummer can also focus on the drums, bass, and guitar leads. So you know that helps a lot. But if I had to also do bass lines, drums, maybe lead guitars, I mean the quality would be lower. Would I rather listen to Five Finger Death Punch or Volbeat? That's a really good question because I think both of those bands are crap. I think they're both really crappy bands. So if I had to pick one of those, I'd pick Volbeat. annoys me a little bit less. And about Annihilator's live thing, I will get back to that in a couple of minutes. I really need to take a leak right now. I'll go out in the open and take a piss on my backyard. So see you in 2 minutes. And back on air again. Now the thing is, why I decided to go take a piss at the yard is that uh, this office space slash man cave of mine is actually the outbuilding, and there is no toilet in this building. So if I want to go to take a piss in the toilet, I have to go back inside of the main building, and I'm too lazy to do that because this nature is really great here, and it's nice to take a piss outside. That's the truth. And now that I've loaded myself with more whiskey, uh, when can you see Annihilatus live again? Um, I wish I could say soon, and I wish I could say that it's a guaranteed thing to do. But to be honest, the thing is, I don't know. Now, I have been discussing this with my drummer, and while I was thinking earlier that he might said like never, but he actually gave it a little bit of thought at some point and said like, yeah, maybe, just maybe we could do live at some point somewhere.
Okay.
But then we came to the realities of life.
There you go.
I want to say this one. I'm not too interested to play in my home city or maybe Finland at all. Because, I mean, it's just kind of boring to play in front of people you know in a place that you just
Almost there.
have visited regularly and all that stuff. But then again, we're too unknown, too small a band that anybody would be willing to, you know, get us to play a gig in some other part of the world. So it's not likely that we will end up playing outside Finland, and we're not too keen about playing in Finland. So does this answer satisfy your curiosity?
There's another one. Posters are everywhere.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. I mean, I definitely would like the first slot of the evening, so I could just relax the late part. So yeah, if it would be great to say, I don't know, warm up for
Let's go
bands
through
like
the alley.
Horna or B Hexen or something like that.
Wow, it's that fucking truck.
It's all right. Just keep your head down.
But yeah, realities are what they are, and I can only blame ourselves for being non-interested in playing live, because that means because we don't have fame, we're not likely to get booked.
Me and Ruben stumbled on it. Split it right.
So we can only blame ourselves for not doing more shows. Cosmic, that's a nice compliment.
Man, I saved your ass from that clicker last week. I'll think about it.
But yeah, some people have said that they could, you know, play live for us. So, you know, we probably could have a live lineup. Yeah, Steel Chaos lineup is really, really great for non-Finns at all. Anyway.
Some kind of military turret. Stay down.
Oh, sad to hear about that fest. Horna is really solid. It's not my favorite of Finnish bands, but I mean, they are so experienced. They always make a solid lineup. I mean, solid gig. I mean, Nigo, both. More about stories than tempo as such. I sometimes like to play games like Call of Duty, fast tempo, not care so much about story, but sometimes I do like to fool around with the atmosphere of the game and whatnot. Bonenapi, do you know what your name means in Finnish? Do you know what that song title means in Finnish, by the way? Do you have any idea? Because I really wasn't sure if your name is half Finnish, half English. Anyway, in marraskuussa. Marraskuussa means in November. No. Maybe I will just say thank you, Badachi. Yeah, I know my jokes are gold standard. I mean, you know my review videos, you know my level of humor is just fucking awesome. I mean, like, how the world could even survive without my humor? That's just like impossible. Not impossible, but impossible. To be honest, I don't remember this part of the game at all. And I guarantee I wasn't drunk.
Bring it up.
Mosh till you drop. Yeah, there's a saying, live to fight another day, right? And this is not exactly how you do it. Now what the hell was this run? I once again forgot it. Okay, what's that? Talking about some humor in those videos, for instance, sometimes I have no idea if people actually get my weird sense of humor with those videos. Because, I mean, there might be some, for the lack of a better word, some cultural barrier, like which way some of those jokes could be seen. And yeah, Ellen Page. Jeez.
I think we lost him.
There might be actually some gear. Move on, kid. Oh, bah, nothing here. So back to the business. When they are talking about those videos, I sometimes try to include humor more than I guess people can understand because it might be some cultural things, it might be some Finnish thing, and I'm like laughing to myself with some of those ideas, and sometimes people are like, I don't get it, and sometimes it's vice versa. I don't even aim to say anything funny, just being regular me, and people might be saying, yeah, that was a funny thing. So it's kind of interesting what I've learned with the videos is that humor is so goddamn local thing.
Oh shit.
We're okay. They can't see us.
Or regional thing anyway. And I was just sipping whiskey. Happy to note that there wasn't any button smashing at the time.
Don't stop! Look.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, of
Easy,
course,
son.
some humor is,
Just
you
take
know,
it easy.
more
It's all right. They're not the bad guys. Lower the gun.
kind of a universal, international thing.
Man, you hit hard.
Yeah, well, I was trying to kill you.
Glad you liked it. I think it ended up
Yeah, I
being
thought
better
you were
than
one
I
of them,
expected.
too. Then I saw you. If you haven't noticed, they don't keep kids around. Survival of the fittest.
You're bleeding.
It's just nothing. I'm Henry. This is Sam. I think I caught your name was Joel.
Ellie.
How many are with you?
They're all dead.
Hey, we don't know that. There were a bunch of us. Someone had the brilliant idea of entering the city, look for supplies. Those fuckers, they ambushed us, scattered us. Now it's all about getting out of this shithole.
We can help each other.
Ellie.
Safety in numbers and all that.
She's right. We could help each other. We got a hideout not too far from here. Be safer if we chat there.
All right, take us there.
Follow me.
Sorry about the whole gun thing.
Don't worry. I would have probably done the same thing. Where are you from?
All the way from Hartford.
Really? I heard some bad stuff going on down there.
Yeah, the military abandoned the zone. That's why we left. Place probably looks like
The Crustaceum album was, by the way, really bad. Glad to hear you bought it, Jeff. Sorry, because I think the Armageddon one is really good. Not as good as Cryptomok or Hex Anu. In case you didn't see those albums or haven't listened to those, I would say check out Cryptomok and Hex Anu. In my opinion, they are still the best albums this year. And in case you want some other, let's say, hard criticism with that cryostation style, be sure to check out the split with Streborg soon. I don't actually remember to which day I set it to be scheduled. Maybe 1 week from now. That is really, really horrible release also. That Streborg song is like... it's like
There you go.
puking in ear. And yeah, that Cryptomo cover is nice. It reminds me of In the Nightside Eclipse. Streborg is so goddamn horrible, and this is the most horrible Streborg song ever.
Ellie, found another one of them comics.
It's not even metal, by the way. It's really, really horrible track. It's so horrible it makes me want to listen Five Finger Death Punch. Yeah, that's one of the problems with me and Streborg. It's way more quantity over quality, but it has always been like that, to be honest. Well, that song really is more horrible than ever Five Finger Death Punch. It's really, really horrible. Well, yeah, but this new style isn't anything to do with LDR, really. It's not, like I said, it's not even metal. It's like a bad electro track. But yeah, back in the days, at least he used to do some kind of a mediocre atmospheric black metal. But the worst parts are just, really, really horrible.
Wait. Everyone be quiet. Get away from
Well,
the
listen to
windows.
that track and you will understand. And not that the other band on that
We're going.
split
Man,
with
that fucking
Streborg.
truck. It's been hounding us ever since we got in this damn...
It isn't much
So
better,
what are you
but at
doing?
least somewhat
Nothing.
better.
Get rid of it.
My backpack is practically empty.
What's the rule about taking stuff?
It weighs like
The
nothing.
rule. What is it?
We only take what we have to.
That's right. Now come on.
How far is this place?
We're close. Real close.
I like Ildjarn a lot.
You watch our back.
Sastur,
Someone was up there.
not so much. I mean, it is quite okay.
They wanted to give it another once over. Make sure we didn't
Never
miss
got
anything.
to like that
All
much.
right. Keep an eye out over there. I'll check this area.
I'm going over this way. Sit down there.
Wow! Oh shit! Like him!
I got you now, asshole.
You didn't see this one coming.
You did it. Not bad, old timer.
Piece of shit.
Come on. Up on this truck.
See that shit?
Careful, man.
What was that?
I was going to mention Leviathan being close to level of Xastur, but in my opinion it's not that good. Quite mediocre band in my opinion.
in the store.
You sure it's safe being so close to them?
I'm the only one with the key, man.
And where'd you get that?
I killed one of them. He won't miss it now. Everybody through. Back here.
You know why these mirrors are broken? The reason is this: they don't have to figure out about reflections technology. Drowning the light, yeah, I know, but I really can't remember how the music was. Probably not too shabby since I can't remember it. Yeah, that's very typical scum. That's how so many bands end up doing it. I think the lengthiness of so many bands is one of the major problems. You know, some bands, especially these solo projects, fall in love with their ideas way too much and they don't know when to, or rather, they don't understand when to uh, end a song, you know? So they just keep repeating it too much so that it becomes like nauseating experience versus being really good. Longest album must be some double album, something like 2 CDs or whatever. Those kind of albums are rather rare cases, but you know, every now and then you have those.
Here we are.
And longest song ever, I guess,
Welcome
in
to my
metal music
office.
was by Edge of Sanity's
How long have you guys been holed
Crimson,
up in
which
here?
is 40 minutes
A
exactly.
few days.
I know, I
We
know
found a
that
bit of
since
food,
then,
though.
and there have been other bands making even lengthier tracks, but
Blueberries.
can't say I
Found a whole
remember any.
stash of them. You want some?
No.
Hey, man, relax.
And
It's
I don't
safe.
mind like the albums. When I was younger, I
Why
actually
haven't you left?
dreamed
Been waiting for the right opportunity.
And?
dreamed of those bands that
Here,
every album would be some
check
70
this out.
minutes, you know. Because I mean, if an album is good, why not make it a very long
All
album?
these sons of
But the
bitches.
fact is, most bands
Every day
can't
they
make that
congregate down there, guarding that
that
damn
much good
bridge.
music.
Come nighttime, it's down to a skeleton crew.
Yeah,
After
2 hours
sunset,
is usually
that's our
too
window.
much. But I mean, if you have the
Most of
quality,
them
why
gone,
not?
sneak right past them.
That could work.
Oh, it'll work. It'll definitely work. Wow.
Oh
All right, ready?
Ow!
A blueberry hurt you?
It's been a while since that boy even cracked a smile. She doesn't seem bothered by all this.
So where were you heading?
Heard the Fireflies are based out west somewhere. We're gonna join up with them. Something funny?
Oh, it just seems like there's a lot of people putting their stock on the Fireflies these days.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason for that.
So you don't know where they are, and you're just gonna drag him across the country to find them?
I tell you what, how about I worry about my brother, you worry about your girl.
Easy. We're looking for the Fireflies, too.
This is us. There's an abandoned military radio station just outside the city. Any survivors from our group, they're supposed to meet us there tomorrow. You and your girl, you want to join us? It goes down tonight.
I guess we best rest up then.
He says it's time to go.
No, we're gonna be moving fast, okay? So no matter what, you stick to me like glue.
Like glue.
Like glue.
Got it.
Good, good. All right, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all stay close, okay?
You tried this before?
Yeah.
That's comforting.
Relax, old man.
I just hope you know the way.
But I mean, in general, it is better to make a little bit shorter an album and make sure it's quality. Like, I'd rather take 40 minutes full quality rather than 60 minutes of where I feel like half the stuff is just filler crap.
This way.
So that's why I think Raining Blood is fucking great. I mean, you have roughly 30 minutes of pure quality, no fillers. Alright, scum. Have a good day or night or evening or whatever. Well, it's nice to have you here on the stream. Hope you will make it in the future as well.
Okay. Let's try to take him out quietly. Hey, I'll follow your lead.
All right.
Hey, how you doing? Keep warm. How's it looking out there?
We put down some infected. No sign of those tourists.
Think they're still in the city?
Yeah, they're still around. All right, I'm gonna do another round. Watch your back.
Yeah, you too.
You got moves, man. Okay, everyone move up.
To be honest, I don't know what the next game to be streamed would even be. I know that La Blonde, I don't know if she's online anyway, said that I should be streaming Sims, which could be interesting. Scary in what ways, you mean, Jeff?
Hey,
You mean
hear
because
that?
of COVID?
Yeah, I hear it, but I don't see shit.
Oh shit, they spotted us.
Find something to hide behind.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's safe thing to be scared.
Where are you, you motherfucker?
See you, Sheriff. It was nice to have you here for some talks.
We did it.
If nothing really changes, these will be every Saturday streams. So you'll know how to reach me, how to comment and chat and whatever.
Henry, give me a hand with this.
All right. You ready?
And I think I should buy Cosmic a beer for being a frequent visitor with the streams.
Wait.
Hey, they're over here!
Oh, shit.
Oh no. Got him. Come on, everyone.
Keep your eyes open. We ain't out of this mess yet.
All right, check it out.
We're good. Sam, let's go.
All right, kid, come on. There you go.
It's funny, I felt like really tired already 3 hours ago and ready to go to bed. And now it's suddenly 3 a.m. and I'm like, hey, I'm still playing. Hey, I'm still asleep. Maybe I need some whiskey.
Okay, we gotta get him up.
I'm sorry. We're leaving.
Gotta say, Bonne Appi,
Bullshit.
Hey, now!
What the
I
fuck,
ever
Henry?
didn't play Final Fantasy VII more than
We stick together.
just the initial combat or something like that.
No, come on.
It always felt way too Japanese for me.
Oh, fuck. Fuck, do we get out of here? Fuck these guys. Get over here!
I'm moving up.
Yeah, I remember it from the my computer distributor days. I was at the technical support, and every now and then I would be sent some of those faulty games. They said, PC games, and obviously it was more about people not having been updating their graphics card or whatever. So they sent us these faulty CDs, and I would be always installing them to see if the disc actually works, which most of the time obviously did. So I always installed Final Fantasy and basically maybe tried out the first combat or so, but never went beyond that. And I felt like this is way too Japanese, way too big eyes, way too manga, So I kind of created this call that sort of an allergic reaction to that kind of graphics and style. So even if the game actually was good, I wouldn't know because I didn't give it a fair chance. But yeah, that's what I was doing in the late 90s, early 2000s, being that technical support guy, listening to metal all days and installing games. Yeah, Ryan, that's I guess people who really know me are kind of understand. I mean, I don't hate it, but I just can't myself to like it for some reason. But after all, we all have our own perversions, you know? Like some are into bronies and shit. I mean, ponies with being bronies.
How many bullets do you have left?
They're gonna kill us.
What gear?
What choice do we have?
You mean like
No, it's too high and you can't
instruments
swim.
or
I'll
recording
boost you up,
gear
you run
or
past 'em.
whatever? I surely don't mind that. I'm not just
You'll keep me afloat.
sure what
Ellie!
gear you mean.
No time to argue.
Ellie!
And Ryan, nothing wrong with with that. I mean, if you can enjoy it, why not? Many people like Final Fantasy, enjoy epic storylines and stuff like that. But I don't know. I never gave the Japanese gaming style a fair chance. Let's be honest about it. And no, the new
Henry!
Last of Us game
He's awake.
is
Neil.
out in about
alive.
3 or 4 weeks.
See? What'd I tell you?
Late
huh?
June.
He's good. Everything's fine.
Oh,
No, Sam's
Cosmic,
one who
the
spotted
only
you. You guys
guitars
are
I
taking quite a
have
bit of
are a
water.
couple of cheap Jackson
Hey,
PS1
hey.
guitars. But our
He's
drummer,
pissed, but he's not
he
gonna do
has
anything.
quite a
You sure
few.
about that?
And
Joel?
he has been recording
He
some of the
left us to
guitars
die
now
out there.
during COVID.
No. You
He
had a
has
good chance
plenty
making
of,
it, and you did. But coming back
pedals,
for you meant putting him at risk.
and he
Stay
has some
back.
nice amps, but I don't remember half
It was
of
the other
them.
way around.
Not
Would you have
most
come
of
back
them
for us?
anyway.
I saved you.
Nor I actually remember what drums he uses.
Save me too.
Basically,
We would have drowned.
he has expensive guitars, I have cheap ass guitars. We have some Röde microphones,
It's fine, I'm okay.
and I really can't tell a lot about it. We have some, or our drummer has
For
some
what it's worth, I'm
Genelec
really glad we spotted you.
studio monitors for checking out the sound. Also some
Now, that
kind
radio
of
tower, it's on the other side
more
of this cliff.
a normal
Okay, place is gonna be
stereo
full of
setup
supplies.
for checking also the sound.
You're gonna be really happy you didn't kill me.
And yeah, we record our stuff with
Hey, we're gonna search
Reaper
this area.
software.
See what we come up with.
That was intense. You cool?
We used to do 4-trackers and 8-trackers early on. That is on tape, really.
Hey, maybe we can find something in that boat over there.
I mean, and I really suck as a guitar player. Don't even get me started. I mean,
Keep your eyes peeled.
Way ahead of you, kid.
I really suck at, playing the guitar. I've said it many times, but I must be the crappiest guitar player in my Hope City who actually made it to an album. Yeah, Reaper seems to be cool. But I mean, I like Jackson style, but I mean, I don't have much experience with lots of other brands. like for example, my drummer, who is originally a guitar player, he has various guitars. Some are, in my opinion, crazy expensive ones, like 3,000 or something. Whereas my guitars are more like 200 euros or so, you know. So you see the difference. He has multiple guitars, he buys them, he sells them, he buys some more. He has some Gibsons and whatnot, and I just use cheap ass Jackson. But I think it fits our kind of a lo-fi tune. And of course, I'm happy that we don't have to do it on tape like we did back in the days. Because back in the days, recording on tapes, you made a mistake, you had to fix so much more than nowadays. Ryan, too bad you didn't get it. It could have been cool guitar. Yeah, of course it's part of the experience. I'm not denying that. But to be honest, I mean, obviously when you had a 4-tracker, you had only 4 tracks to use. So of course it's easier for the making of music.
I thought you might shoot him.
Yeah, almost did.
Recording those tracks when you have more than just 4 or 8 tracks.
I think you're right.
Did everyone have boats back then?
Oh, Ryan, really cool.
Yeah, I had a 60-foot yacht.
Really?
No.
Sarcasm. Making progress.
But yeah, I'm not the kind of a nostalgia guy. I mean, I surely don't hate the times when you had to do 4-trackers and all that stuff. But it's not like I crave that time, you know. Like, I wish it was back in the 90s or early 2000s, man. The only good thing that actually comes to my mind about those times is that since it was harder for people to actually record music, it meant there was less crappy bands because you had to go through so much more trouble, you know, recording your own stuff, and many people were not willing to do that. Didn't have the equipment or the skill or the time. So obviously it kind of required more say passion or dedication. Yeah, that was a barrier of entry. That's very cool way to put it. But apart from that, I really don't know if things have changed, because obviously still this weeding out the weak thing has happened. I mean, labels don't sign weak bands, at least not good labels. So whether you call it weeding out the weak or culling the herd or whatever, I think it still takes place. It's just different. Of course, nowadays anybody can set up a Bandcamp page or put their music on YouTube, but we all know it's still different. I mean, it's different, vastly different. You know, releasing your stuff digitally only by yourself than getting a label to put out your music on tape, CD, vinyl. So I think still there is still this barrier, so to speak. I mean, let's be honest about it. if you find a cool label, be it a something like Northern Heritage
Right, you go in.
or World Terror Committee or stuff like that, to release your stuff, you know you pass some sort of quality control. But if you end up releasing it yourself digitally, because nobody else is willing to put their dimes into making, putting the music out, there is a difference. Yeah, that's why I mention it, Ryan. Because I mean, if you find a decent label, you're not doing shit.
Me neither. We ain't got much of a choice.
But if you're putting your stuff out by yourself, just because nobody else is willing, you really should take that as a warning.
It's blocked.
If you can get it open, I can crawl through and clear that door. Oh, yeesh. That is a big rat.
I would imagine that LP manufacturers only accept digital files. I really don't know for sure.
Hey, this way. Looks like there's a path up ahead. Right here.
Yeah, Cosmic, I guess you're right about that. But to me, it's not so much about analog versus digital. To me, it's more about like
Can we get out this way?
today. Actually, I was reading an interview on the local metal magazine, and there was a cool point about
That makes two of us.
this fact that with digital releases, you don't see the stuff like production and mastering and mixing information. You just see the songs and maybe a thumbnail of an album cover.
Look, a generator.
But with physical production,
Can't reach it.
you actually see all the information that is out there. So it's way more than just, physical copy of the digital file. Yes, Ryan, of course there are these exceptions to both rules. Like sometimes you're wondering with a band, like, how come nobody signed this band? Like, what the fuck is wrong with those bands or labels? And sometimes it's the opposite, like with that Crustacean review. And I was wondering why the fuck the label wanted to put out this music. So, released by a label doesn't prove
Y'all
much.
wait there.
First of all, it's relatively cheap, so any band can basically, find their own label. They can found their own label and put music out just like that. But if you end up on a cool label, and by cool I mean a label that is known for their quality, and they have this kind of a respect, then it's really up for something good. So that's my point with this getting signed to a label. What the fuck do you wanted me to do? I guess I'm getting tired here. Also, it doesn't help that I'm just talking with you guys and I'm like, I probably need some cool information, like what should be done. Can't say that I remember Northern Silence right now. But yeah, there are these labels.
Henry, give it a shot.
All right. Yep, it's working.
For example, in general, I think Northern Heritage is good, Nordvis is good, the
I'm
guy
gonna have
from
a look.
Armageddon.
You keep an eye out.
World Terror Committee is good. There are plenty of these good. I think Norma Evangeli is good. So sometimes there are labels which are definitely something good, that whenever you get these labels released, you know what to expect. You know to expect some good stuff. And then there are labels which rarely put out good stuff.
Oh, shit. Yeah! Still in one piece.
Agonia from Poland used to be one of the more interesting one at some points, but I don't know, even they turned a little bit untrustworthy. Now, Wolfspell Records is one of the Polish labels which I think mostly releases a interesting ones. It's not like they all are like top notch, but mostly at least interesting and good stuff. I remember Trucker being rather good also, but haven't been following them much lately. And yeah, I think lots of bigger labels are also a little bit uncredited when it comes to releasing good stuff. I mean, it's easy to bitch about labels such as Nuclear Blast or Century Media or even um, Season of Mist, but they do have good bands also. It's just so much varied style. Bone Nappy, is it that isn't on vinyl then? I would have imagined it is.
Let's go, Ellie.
Oh, there you go. That's smart.
I can't wait to get out of this place.
All 300 comments already in with this stream. Pretty cool. You're active audience, gotta say.
Alright, see if that generator still got some juice.
I have a
Goes nothing.
vague recollection that I read something about Unskapt. But when and what, I really don't know.
All right.
That's what do you think? Will I be able to finish this game before new Last of Us game is out? Virtual guy better making synth albums than metal ones. Gotta say, I really can't agree. I think he makes mediocre synth albums, but great metal albums. Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly.
Say, I'm impressed
What
with you.
are you talking about? That's like saying, why do you think Lars Ulrich makes so good drum parts these days? Or like, why it is that David Vincent isn't the best vocalist of Morbid Angel? Which band, Ryan?
It's a soundtrack.
A what?
It's a sort of alarm.
I don't hear anything.
Someone used to live here. Don't look like that's the case anymore.
Who would stay in here?
Which band are you talking about,
I
Ryan?
don't think you keep a place like this safe.
You hear that?
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Shh. Quiet.
Bootstrap really got you into black metal. That's interesting because, I mean, it's not like they're that big a band. And usually people got into more extreme style, or well, any style of metal, because of, well, bigger, more known bands. So guys, I have a question for you. Did you actually check out the video I uploaded today. The video about why same bands keep appearing on magazines. That's curious because for me, Vatine is one of the newer bands. I remember roughly when the first album came out, and I felt it was like the new school of Swedish black metal, Rabid's Death Curse album.
Well,
Yeah, technically, but we all know that,
Seeing how
basically,
there was a clicker, they've been going
first
for a while.
album
We keep moving forward.
is the one that you
All we can do is hope there
start
aren't
do
any
the
more.
counting.
Doubtful, I know.
Yeah, I get it, Cosmic, yeah. I mean, I was death metal guy and thrash metal guy before getting into black metal also. So yeah, it explains. So anybody seen the video I uploaded today? Just curious. I'm not saying you should necessarily watch it or anything like that. Just wondering, what do you think about the topic I was talking about? I know I uploaded it a few hours later. What I was supposed to do, what I usually do, but that's a human error. I just forgot to upload and schedule it for local 5 p.m. So it was more like 10 p.m. But just wondering if you took a look at that video and if that raised any thoughts. Because for me it was kind of a, I don't know, weird moment of realization. Like, really? How come I see these things happening year after year after year and nobody basically blinks an eye about it? It doesn't necessarily mean zines only. Magazines, scenes, video, articles, blogs, underground issues, whatever. It applies to that all. Rauta included. Though I know my approach is a little bit different. But that wasn't so much the point there. So I urge you to check it out if you read any kind of metal publications whatsoever, underground or mainstream. No matter if it's zine, magazine, video channel, mainstream publication, blog.
hey, you think that leads out?
Could be. It's too high for a boost. Maybe there's another way to get there.
Sam! Yeah, I'm cool.
I never got to like too much Primordial, to be honest.
Henry, see if we can lift this.
I've tried, but something is missing in my opinion.
So, this is awkward.
Cosmic, do you read metal publications at all?
What? Hey, this thing isn't budging, man. Just go, get out of here. Sam, you stay close to him.
Henry, we gotta fucking move!
You keep him safe, go!
Alright.
They're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I know.
All right, come on, kid. See if we can find a way out of here, yeah?
You mean websites or zines?
Okay. Infected. Did you see that?
Well, zines, I definitely recommend that Bardo methodology. Website or paper zine. That's, in my opinion, the greatest zine I ever read. And the same applies to the website as well. I mean, it's quality anyway. Of course, my criticism with my today's video is more about mainstream. Magazines than anything like that. Hey, these mad fuckers are raving about. Well, that's part of the thing, really. If you check out the video, you'll get my point about it. Because the thing is, even Rauta's followers, which I could imagine are more about underground, and yet still most of the unknown bands are just ignored. Metalheim, that's one of the points I'm making in the video. Well, I don't know. Suomi-Finland perkele had lots of problems, to be honest. Especially in the Black Death department. Because of Sami Tenet's
You did it.
We're gonna keep going. You good?
Yeah.
Well, not that there isn't good zines. The problem, in my opinion, well, you should probably watch the video first, or at least listen to introduction or whatever. But the problem is a little bit more complicated than you might think at first. Because it's not just, that, yeah, it's about money. Of course, things are also about money. Yeah, I think Inferno magazine is good overall, but it also lacks the same thing. So many underground things are missing, and actually, the reason why I started making this video was because I was reading Inferno. Because after all, well, check out the video. You'll get the idea, and I'll expand from that. Thing is, even though the quality might be good, even though it isn't so much about the money, it's just sheer impossibility to make all these bands exposed, to give them coverage and all that stuff. So smaller indie labels, indie publications, they are not depending on the money so much, so they can do what the fuck they want. That same applies to Rauta as well, obviously. But that also means that when you're small enough, you don't necessarily get interviews with bigger bands, because bigger labels and bigger bands are not so much interested in smaller ones. That's what Vatine said a couple of years ago when I actually made a video about it. And as such, basically, this is a simplified version. Bigger bands go with bigger publications, and smaller bands go with smaller publications. And that, Metalheim, is part of what I just said. And even though it is like that, and even though these smaller publications, zines, metal websites, or whatever, are doing these underground interviews more, still most bands are missed. So even still, the most underground bands are missed because they are not seen as fascinating, and that brings to my brings to the point of Rauta as well. So if I do interviews or reviews of an unknown band, it's not gonna get as many views as a band that is known. Armageddon is a good example. If I do a Mayhem interview or review, doesn't matter if everybody's even, heard the album. People still will be watching that video a lot more than a video that is about some unknown band. So whereas they could learn about some unknown band and find, hey, this is very interesting, they are more likely to just check out the bands that they already know. So it doesn't matter if it's a mainstream thing or underground thing, people are behaving the same way. They look for the names they recognize and know and check out those reviews and interviews rather than going for the unexplored, so to say. And that's why the most bands, you are not gonna get ever an interview. So it is the very same thing with big bands and small bands, unknown bands and known bands. Hello, fermented taco.
Go ahead.
Tacos. They're great. I don't think it's hard to actually find good underground bands. But I think the problem is that people are not giving a fair chance to bands that they don't know.
Is that Ellie?
Alright, Cosmic. Thanks for being once again on the stream, and have a good lunch or dinner or whatever you're having right there, and catch you later.
Joel, that's them. Sam!
Oh, thank God.
I will be heading to bed soon too. It's already 3:30. So I think we'll be calling it quits in a few minutes.
Get away from the door.
Yeah, they're good with those protesters, and be safe. No. Don't get caught in the fire.
Sam! He just crawled through!
He what? Sam, what the hell are you doing?
I think I will finish my whiskey in a bit,
Go.
and then I will head to bed.
Let's go.
Because it's late and I'm tired and I need to get up tomorrow as well. Let's just first find a spot where it would be cool to put a stop to.
Damn thing stuck!
Here, give me a boost. I can get through that window.
Open it from the other side.
Make it fast.
Come on, Sam. You're not staying in here.
What about you?
I'll be fine. Come on.
I'll
Go.
be fine. I didn't know why I had to do that. I just had to.
Get ready.
Here we go.
What the fuck? Kill.
Doors open. Go.
That was a hectic battle.
Move. Go.
All right, it's time to call it quits now that the battle is over
Look at this.
and get some
You fucking
sleep.
kidding me? Thanks for the warning on the other side, guys.
Thanks for hanging out with me, guys
this
and
tower.
gals, and well, not gals most likely, but anyway.
We're close.
And take care.
Come on, let's
Check
go.
out that video I made today to give you some thoughts, ideas, and obviously more reviews coming your way
Hey.
soon.
doing,
I
little man?
think the next review should be out actually
close one,
in
huh?
about
Yeah.
90
one of
minutes
our
or
finest
so, if I remember scheduling it correctly.
Made it out.
So, bye everybody. Have a good night or good day or wherever you are on the time zone. And be seeing you next week with more streaming. I think I will get this game streamed until the very end before the next game takes place. That might be Last of Us 2, but it might be something else as well. So, we'll figure it out later on. Once again, take care, see you, bye bye, and all that stuff. Adios.